We work for sounds of pitter-patter. We sweat for moments of triumph. And we look forward to lunchroom chatter. We do it to help businesses prosper and communities thrive. It takes passion. It takes leadership and innovation. And it requires plenty of perseverance and teamwork. We are the catalyst for economic growth. We are the convener for leaders and influencers. We are the champion for a stronger Yuba-Sutter. We are the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce. Grow with us.
Okay, good evening and welcome to the Yuba County Candidate Forums tonight, brought to you by the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce and the Appeal Democrat. My name is Marnie Sanders and I'm the CEO of the Chamber. And my apologies for the redundancies in these introductions, but for the sake of each of these forums, we've separated them out for the live stream, and so you get to listen to us say the same thing over and over again if you're here for all the races, so I apologize. I would like to point out that the Appeal Democrat is also covering all of the candidate forums, and so you'll be able to read in the newspaper in the days to come the answers to the questions that are being asked. I'd like to thank Yuba County for hosting us tonight in this lovely room. We really appreciate their support. And hello to those on live stream. We are live streamed on the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce Facebook page tonight, and we are being shared out to multiple other pages as well. At this time, I'm going to introduce Nikki Rogers, who is a Chamber board member, and she is also the chair of our Government Affairs Committee, and she is going to go over the format for tonight's forum.
Thank you, Marnie. I'm going over it again for those of you that were here the first time around. So this is our second race for the night. We will start our questions with Yuba County Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Francisco Reveles, Incumbent, and M Meyerpeter-Newman. So the way it's going to work is each candidate will have 90 seconds for their opening statements. From there, there'll be a series of questions from the audience, the committee, and the readers of the Appeal Democrat. If you'd like a question considered, please just raise your hand. We have Bill standing up against the wall there. He can write down or get you a card so you can put your questions down. For those of you on live stream, put your questions in the comments and we can write those down for you. Please make sure that if you do have a question that you address both candidates. Both candidates have to be addressed in order for the question to be considered. We do already have several questions for the candidates, so if we don't get to yours, we do apologize. We will do our best. We'll have time for about 5 or 6. And we do ask that you hold your applause till the very end, and that's only for time purposes, just so we can get through all the answers. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer each question. Rebuttals will be allowed only if there is a reference to a particular opposing candidate in another candidate's answer. Those rebuttals will be allowed 30 seconds. At the end of each question, each candidate will have up to 2 minutes for a closing statement. There will be no rebuttals during the closing statements. Candidates, please direct your attention to Ms. Jackie Lee. She has 3 signs, one that says 30 seconds, one that says 15 seconds, and one that says time's up. We do ask that you be mindful of time and stay within your limits. Again, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us this evening. We appreciate you coming out to learn more about tonight's candidates. I would like to extend a special thank you to our Candidate Forum Committee for putting this on. Ms. Jackie Lee, Bob Harlan, Robert Suma, Marnie Sanders, Russell Haug, and Ted Langsdale. Our moderators for tonight are Robert Suma, editor of the Appeal Democrat, Bob Harlan, executive director of the Yuba-Sutter-Colusa United Way, both of which who have donated many hours to determine the issues pertinent to Yuba County and bring you tonight's forum. So with that, I will turn it over to Robert and Bob.
Thank you very much. Appreciate good turnout here tonight. Appreciate the candidates being here. And we're going to start out with opening statements. And each candidate has up to 90 seconds to give their opening statement. And we'll talk with the incumbent, Dr. Francisco Reveles, and he'll give his opening statement, followed by his competitor, M Meyerpeter-Newman. Dr. Reveles.
Thank you, Mr. Harlan. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be here. To my opponent, good evening. 14,000 children in Yuba County. That is why I'm running for re-election. I strongly believe parents have the ultimate and God-given right to decide what is best for their children. I will continue to forcefully advocate for changes in the law that I feel are harming our children and families, not only locally, but with the governor himself, as I've done in the past, and legislatively. My approach is level-headed and always on the level. I believe our schools must reflect our community values, and our administration must be transparent, responsive to the public. Key areas that I will continue to strongly advocate for include implementation of a county-wide career tech adult education master plan, continued collaboration with Yuba College, and developing viable apprenticeship opportunities in partnership with labor and business leaders. Additional areas include quality services for our children with special needs and fiscal accountability and transparency for our district educational partners. I want to underscore that these efforts are currently underway and not something that I hope to do if elected. I have over 40 years of experience ranging from teacher, counselor, principal, professor, bachelor's degree, and also a master of school counseling and a doctorate in biology and chemistry. That was my undergraduate. I am a 25-year resident of Yuba County, past president of South Yuba Rotary, and a Beale Air Force Base honorary commander. Having arrived in Yuba County as a child with my homeless family, looking for my father, I identify with their children. I can identify. My continued leadership will ensure that the momentum and commitment to our schools will continue. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. And now an opening statement of up to 90 seconds from M Meyerpeter-Newman.
Thank you. Good evening. I want to thank the Appeal Democrat and the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this candidate forum. And my name is M Meyerpeter-Newman, and I'm running for Superintendent of Schools for Yuba County. If elected, I would like to bring a new vision and a new direction to the County Office of Education. My vision for the County Office would be to make it a hub of rich resources for the school districts, the teachers, and the children in Yuba County. My direction would be to meet with stakeholders, meaning the community members, the school district personnel, teachers, parents, and even students, and develop a long-term plan. And in this long-term plan, I would like to offer new programs, building that hub of resources at the county office, and I would also like to streamline some of the existing programs. I'm the person who can make this happen in Yuba County. Thank you.
And thank you very much. We'll have the first question for M Meyerpeter-Newman from Robert Suma.
Thank you both for being here. Thank you everyone for sticking around. Speaking with people in the county and citizens, just some of them don't know what exactly the superintendent of schools does. So can you explain what is the role of the superintendent of schools, Anna?
Yes, I'd be glad to. The superintendent of schools in the county is responsible for, number one, superintending the county schools. So I believe there are 3 schools in Yuba County that are controlled at the county office level, and those are the court schools, and there's a career academy charter school that's also part of the county. And then there's the T.E. Matthews School. So those are the 3 counties that the county superintendent is responsible for. He's also responsible for identifying challenges in the local schools and implementing plans to address those challenges. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the role of the Yuba County Office of Education is very wide. It's about accountability, not only with our students, our special needs, our greatest needs children, but also working with the districts, but also holding them accountable. Let me tell you what I mean. We have great districts, great board members, but my role is to also sign off on their budgets. In other words, so they're not insolvent. That's a very real responsibility. We're also talking about taking a leadership role specifically with career technical, with disaster planning. Disaster planning means this: as the current county superintendent of schools, I have, because of the actions that I've taken, we have a seat now on the Office of Emergency Services Response Team, Crisis Team. That's a result of the Oroville Dam, as well as the fires that we've had. In other words, it's a very specific role, but it's a very important role. Finally, it's about advocating, which I've done a lot. I've gone toe-to-toe with Governor Newsom in his office, but also testifying at the legislature on school safety. Very specific, a lot of details. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go to question number 2, and we'll start with Dr. Reveles. What is the biggest challenge facing Yuba County schools currently and in the future? We've just had a pandemic, and obviously we have a future, and what should that future be?
My vision is that education in Yuba County is for all children, period, regardless of linguistic, cultural, economics. It's for all children, bottom line. Greatest challenge right now is to get beyond the COVID. I call it the COVID purgatory, the turbulence. But the turbulence issue, working with the turbulence is not the challenge. It's not repeating the mistakes of the past. A challenge right now is to make sure that the parents have access to the governance, that there's access to the school boards, etc. That was very clear. Beyond that, we're talking about learning loss. That has happened. I'm not into blaming people. It's about taking responsibility, which I've demonstrated I have along with a great group of individuals. Greatest challenge is how do we move forward with faith in our community? We have issues to deal with achievement, learning loss. That's important. Talking about socioeconomics, that's important. But it is about bringing people together. And you don't bring them by talking about it, you talk about by doing it. And I have developed a lot of collaborations with all the county heads, from the sheriff, Office of Emergency Services, and the district superintendents. It's not what I plan on doing, it's what I've done and hope to continue doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Meyerpeter-Newman.
I see some of the main challenges of the Yuba County students as, number one, at the Yuba County office, meeting the needs of the diverse population of students that we have. And if I could throw out some statistics, 80% of our students in Yuba County do not meet state expectations on the mathematics test. 73% of our students in Yuba County do not meet expectations on the language arts test. And if that's not a need, I don't know what is. An additional need in Yuba County is to make the schools more accessible to the parents. I've been talking to parents all month, and the parents need a pathway, and there are laws in place that allow parents access, but I think that those have kind of fallen out of favor, fallen off the wayside, and I think bringing those back and inviting parents back into the discussions at the school districts is a very important thing to include in Yuba County.
Thank you.
All right. Speaking of COVID, obviously we all know not only the effect it had on people's health and our loved ones, but it had a dramatic effect on the students, their mentality, their mental health. It posed a huge challenge for teachers that had to be in classrooms and essentially risk their lives in some cases. How will you help lessen the impact of any future surge or a pandemic? Anna.
I think we have some guidelines now because we've just been through the pandemic. So there are some things that we know that worked and some things that we know that didn't work well. And I think building on those experiences, that we need to have some guidelines in place ahead of time for our teachers especially. And that was a crazy time in education. And there are scars. I'm in the schools almost every day, in the Yuba County schools almost every day. And I see the teachers struggling. and I see the students struggling. And I think one thing I think is important is to not expect the students to be on track. I have a friend that's a high school teacher, and she teaches 9th grade, and she said basically I have 7th graders. And that's true academically, as well as some of the social skills that they've lost out on. So I think it's important to establish guidelines from our past experiences.
Francisco?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Harlan. First and foremost, it's about rebuilding faith, ladies and gentlemen. It's clear that many parents have lost faith in the governance system. I'm being very candid here. That's one of the challenges we have. There's a lot of learning loss, socio-emotional, but I also don't want to, I'm a very positive person. Roll up your sleeves. It's also about holding our state leaders accountable, ladies and gentlemen. In my conversations at the state level, because I feel my role is not only here, but advocating for Yuba County. And I wrote a piece about this in the Appeal Democrat. I'm not new on the scene. It's about reclaiming confidence in their leaders, etc. It is about giving parents access. The schools, they are working feverishly. There's a lot of funding, but it's not just about money. It's organizing. One of the issues is staffing. That's critical right now, and that's very difficult to do. That's part of rolling up my sleeves, working with the superintendents, with our board of supervisors. Secondly, we have quite a issue with fentanyl. We've got workshops that we're planning right now, summits on fentanyl, social media. It's across the board, ladies and gentlemen. A number of issues. It's not simple. It is complicated, but I feel we can deal with it working collaboratively. Thank you.
Let's start the next question with Dr. Reveles. What is your position on the role and success of charter schools, and what can the Office of Education do to support them?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm frequently asked, are you in favor of public schools or charter schools? My response has always been, I am in favor of effective schools, bottom line. Effective schools. There are some public schools that are not very effective. There's some charter schools that are not very effective, but there's also some charter schools and public schools that are very effective. It's what's best for the children. So my position is very clear. It's effective schools. Make sure they have the resources, the support, and I don't mean just talking about it, the budget. When something happens to some of our charter schools, I'm out there first on the scene. With the public schools, same thing. It's about action. That's how you build faith, Mr. Harlan. Thank you.
Ms. Meyerpeter-Newman?
Yes, I support charter schools. I think it gives a wonderful alternative to parents who, for whatever reason, have become disenchanted with the public schools. I think if anything, it will make the public schools better. If there's competition, that drives innovation. And I think, honestly, it's time for some change in the schools, and I think it'll be driven by the charter schools.
Okay, thank you. Next question, pretty simple. Anna, why are you qualified for this position?
Thank you. I have been an educator for 23 years, a classroom teacher for 23 years, and I've spent another 13 years in a various number of positions, both at the school site level, at the school district level, and at the county level. I have a bachelor's degree in science, a master's degree in education, and I have completed the coursework for a doctoral degree in curriculum and instruction with an emphasis in bilingual. So I feel like I have the qualifications required for the job, as well as the many years of experience.
Thank you. Let me start with the qualifications. I have a bachelor's degree in biology and chemistry. I'm a former teacher of the year, a former Division I high school principal. That's over 4,000. That's a lot of experience. That's a lot of wisdom that degrees cannot confer. I'm also a former senior researcher at the Center for Delinquency and Crime Policy Studies. The County Office of Education works with our at-risk youth. This Easter, I was in there speaking to the kids who are incarcerated. Ladies and gentlemen, it's broader than the degrees. I am also I worked with the Lawrence Hall of Science in developing a curriculum, outdoor biology instructional strategies, and I presented at the NASA Space Ames Research Labs on my research for teachers. But more importantly, I identify with the community. I can go on about my qualifications. It's about identifying with the community. When I come here, when As a resident for 25 years, I see students, whether they're students who are homeless, and I've met some of those, many of them, all students moving on to Harvard, etc. That's important. I can identify with the students. That's probably one of my biggest qualifications beyond my credentials. Thank you.
And thanks to both of our candidates for a great discussion. Let's have a round of applause. We now have an opportunity for each candidate to give up to 2 minutes for a closing statement, and we will start with M Meyerpeter-Newman.
Thank you. I'd like to tell a little more about myself. I first came to the Yuba County area in 1969. My father was stationed at Beale Air Force Base, and I attended the Wheatland schools. And when he retired, we became cattle ranchers. And I've left the area to go to college, and I left the area for several opportunities which have turned out well for me because they've given me the experience in order to run for this position. So one of the opportunities that I had was to become a teacher in charge of science in Christchurch, New Zealand. So I have experience teaching overseas and leading a team of science teachers there. The second opportunity I had was to be the district science lead for a school district of 10,000 down on the Texas-Mexico border. And down there I was able to raise the academic performance scores 20 points in a single year just by working with a team of teachers. Extremely motivated, extremely talented teachers, and that's probably one of my favorite memories of my career as a teacher is working with that team of teachers. Let's see, I'm a community volunteer. I volunteer quite a bit for the FFA program, and I also volunteered for the Wheatland High School board. I served on that board for 4 years and learned a lot there. That also gave me some experience that will suit me well in this position. Most relevant to this position is the 3 years that I spent at Alameda County Office of Education. It was there that I discovered what a rich hub of resources the county office should be. I would like to end this with a quote I've heard from the radio, and the quote is, "If you want to know what a person will do, look at what they've done." I would appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Reveles.
Thank you, Mr. Harlan. I appreciate that last quote. Look at what they've done, ladies and gentlemen. For me, it's students first. My vision as Yuba County Superintendent of Schools is one that encompasses all children from all cultures and income levels. Given that our love for our children binds us all, my approach will continue to be what's best for our children, and parental rights are in the forefront of that vision. I strongly believe parents have the ultimate and God-given right to decide what is best for their children. I will continue to forcefully advocate for the changes locally and at the state level, right up to the governor's office. My candidacy goes beyond simply stating what I plan on doing if elected, but also on highlighting what I have already accomplished as a testament of my commitment to our children. Yuba County deserves a superintendent who gives you results, passion, dedication, and details. True leadership is not about who knows who, but about what you've done, your track record. I have 25 years of skin in the game, specific to Yuba County, and the challenges that face us, from building effective relationships and networks to problem solving during times of crisis, from the Oroville Dam, the fires, the PSPSs, and now the COVID, and to personally facing the governor and testifying before the legislature on behalf of Yuba County. That's part of my track record. Yes, during these difficult times, experience does count more than ever. In closing, this is a personal mission for me, not just a place to land or come out of retirement. I didn't wait until the 11th hour to file. It happened because I've been here, I've done the work. It wasn't an afterthought. This is personal. Students deserve better, ladies and gentlemen. With respect to my opponent, the people that are here, Godspeed. I would be honored to have your vote. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you to both candidates. And again, we'd like for you to help spread the word that these videos that we're producing tonight will be available through Election Day on the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce Facebook page, as well as a couple of other Facebook pages. So please tell your friends about it. Watch these videos again if you'd like to. And we thank you for being here. As far as our next discussion, it'll be for Yuba County Clerk, and we're going to get that turned around as quickly as possible. So please be in your seats in about 5 minutes. Thank you.
We work for sounds of pitter-patter. We sweat for moments of triumph. And we look forward to lunchroom chatter. We do it to help businesses prosper and communities thrive. It takes passion. It takes leadership and innovation. And it requires plenty of perseverance and teamwork. We are the catalyst for economic growth. We are the convener for leaders and influencers. We are the champion for a stronger Yuba-Sutter. We are the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce. Grow with us.